Tired of plain old fruitcakes for the holidays? Turn this dish upside down by replacing all the fruits with gumdrops. Hello, my dears. Buttercup the baking spaniel here, bringing you another holiday-themed treat. This time, we are again returning to my vintage cookbook from the 1960s to try out a very unique and fun-sounding recipe. I'm sure many of you have heard of the classic holiday tradition of making a fruitcake. But what if I told you that there is a version that replaces the fruit inside with gumdrops? Yes, indeed. Today we will be attempting to make a gumdrop cake. I'm so very curious to see how it will turn out. So we better get started. The first step is to prepare our gumdrops. The recipe calls for 1 pound of gumdrops. It doesn't exactly specify, but I'm going to assume that this is the fruit-flavored gumdrops, not the spice gumdrops you will sometimes find around the holiday season. It also states to remove all the black gumdrops. Well, gosh, those are my favorite flavor. I guess that means there's more for me to eat myself. Delicious licorice flavor. Now for our remaining gumdrops, it calls for them to be chopped finely. As you can see, I've gone ahead and chopped most of mine already. But I will show you my preferred method. I'm using some kitchen scissors to chop mine, as I find it a bit easier with their size. I also find it helpful to rub a bit of cooking oil on the blades before cutting, so the gumdrops don't stick. Let's see if I can not cut my little nails off here. Once our gumdrops are prepared, we can move on to making the actual cake. Looking at the book, it appears to be a pretty straightforward recipe, similar to a pound cake. We will start by creaming 1/2 cup of butter with an electric mixer. Add in 1 cup of sugar and 2 eggs that have been beaten. Mix until thoroughly combined. In a separate bowl, we will place our chopped gumdrops. Oh, the recipe also calls for 1/4 cup of raisins. Now, seeing that raisins are actually toxic to dogs, such as myself, I would prefer to leave them out. However, feel free to add them here if you enjoy raisins. Using a sifter, we will sift 2 1/4 cup of flour, ¼ teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We will sift these over our gumdrops. Whee! Snow, 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 snow. I live in Florida. It doesn't snow here, but I can pretend. Now we will stir these together well until the gumdrops are coated in the flour mixture. This process is called dredging, and it helps to keep the heavy pieces of gumdrop from sinking to the bottom of the cake. You can use the same technique for other cake fillings, such as bits of fruit as well. Measure out 1/4 cup of milk and stir in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now we will add our flour mixture and milk alternately to our butter, sugar, and eggs mixture, stirring until just combined between each addition. Around the outside and cut through the middle. That's a common folding technique. Gotta get your muscles out for this one. I think you could use this to patch your roof. Next, we will pour the mixture into a large and well-greased loaf pan. If it'll come out of this bowl. We'll smooth it out nice and neat here. Bake this in the oven at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 135 degrees Celsius for 1 hour and 30 minutes. A note about my cake. I checked it using a toothpick after the specified time, but it still had some raw dough stuck to it. So I increased the oven temperature to 300 degrees Fahrenheit and baked it for another 15 minutes. Then it looked just perfect. Allow to cool, then carefully remove from the baking pan and slice into pieces for serving. Oh my goodness, it looks so fun and colorful. I love how you can see all the little gumdrop pieces in each slice. And let me tell you how delicious it smells. It's sweet and buttery like a pound cake with a hint of fruitiness as well. Now, how does it taste though? Our official taste tester is standing by to give us his opinion. Here you go, my dear. Eat up.
Oh boy.
I think he's a little apprehensive. Get a good piece of that gumdrop.
Alright, let's go in for this middle piece.
Is that a good sound?
It tastes like a pound cake with gumdrops in it. Like,
Well,
pretty much what it says on the tin.
you know what? I'm gonna have to try a piece myself. I just can't wait. Let's see how this goes. It's very chewy. The cake itself is tasty, a little bit dry, but fruitcakes typically are. However, I think the gumdrops add a nice juiciness to it. Wouldn't you agree? And they're not quite as hard and chewy now that they've been in the oven. They're a bit softened. I kind of like it. Gonna go in for another bite.
I think the thing I might change on it is to maybe cut back on the gumdrops, because I think that that's led to the cake being a little bit drier because it just hasn't had any room to. I mean, you can see how packed it is in there, but like the flavors are really good.
I do agree.
It's definitely not a cake you could eat a bunch of pieces of.
Oh no.
It like
oh no.
It's like very gummy, but I mean I think that's also fruitcake.
Yes, I think one slice would be more than enough for me. And because they're gumdrops and not fruit, it's very, very sweet. But it's really not bad. If you're looking for something that's a little unusual, then try this gumdrop cake. And there you have it, a classic gumdrop cake. It is a unique and colorful cake that is quite simple and fun to make. The taste is unusual, but not at all unpleasant. It would be quite a nice cake for the young and the young at heart. I might also suggest giving it a try with the raisins if you are so inclined. They might cut that sweetness down and give it just a bit of needed tartness to the cake. Thank you all for joining me as I tried out another fun vintage recipe today. If you enjoy learning how to make classic and unique recipes, you just have to check out my playlist with the other vintage recipes I have tried. You can learn to make a cake from Coca-Cola, a shoe fly pie, and more. Wishing you a holiday season that is wonderful and bright. Until next time, mwah!